half an hour to tell you what takes like 6 generations. So gracias for your time. I'm going to start the way we always start doing these things. We're going to add a little bit of medicine, a little copal. Do you know what copal is, folks? Anybody familiar with copal? Copal is a resin. It comes from the copal trees. There's different kind of copal. There's white copal, red copal. There's a golden color copal, and there's even a black copal. It all comes from different parts of southern Mexico. And so you can still find some of the pine pitch, there's pine that bleeds out of the trees like maple syrup, and so I'm going to use, this is what's used to clean with. Just like, we use dial soap. This is what cleans us spiritually. I grew up with this with my abuela, and maybe the closest to it, what you've experienced, is the frankincense that they use in the Catholic Church, if those of you who've grown up Catholic. So the very first thing we do to start is we, clean ourselves off. And I'm going to offer this to you too, because, since you've been having your regular day, and I know that in your regular day, it's been a busy day. Lots of people, lots of things, lots of stress, I'm sure. Good things too, I'm sure. Whatever it is that distracts you. So I just want to put us together here today. No sé. Can you smell it back there? Did you get some of it? Oh, pues mira, can I? I'm going to enlist the help of somebody. How about you right here? Si lo puedes llevar all around, go back around that way. Here's a little more. Cuidado con las things up there. Have the whole building evacuated and we'll go, oops. We needed some attention. Can you make space for her to go around, por favor? This is what starts todas las ceremonias. Every single ceremonia starts out with the blessing of medicine because it helps us filter out everything that we don't need. Necesitas más. Can you pass this to her? Just little tiny pinches, por favor. Okay, pasas. It kind of helps put our attention and let go of our tension and, get us all in one mind and one heart, one place together. Start where you left off, yeah. Now this is what I grew up with my abuelita. She always kept our house good like that, and me, because I was very rabiosa. I used to have a lot of temper tantrums when I was little. So she always, brought out the copal, took care of my temper tantrums real quick. The chancla came later after the copal didn't work. Usually I got the copal. I got the chance with the copal. That didn't work yet, the chancla. Actually, her favorite tool of discipline was the fly swatter. Had a better reach. I was a fast runner. You guys are doing that real nice. There, see, they know how to use it. Se limpian. Okay, let's come back, folks. This is something that's been done now for, I don't know, millennia, thousands and thousands and thousands of years that this medicine has been used to help us clean ourselves off. It cleans off también what is considered to be, what's around us, It cleans us off of things that we pick up from people. You always say, people put their energy on you sometimes, She came and dumped on me, a veces se dice. And then you walk around and you're like upset and you don't know why. And sometimes you run into people who are holding sadness. Sometimes they're distracted. Sometimes you're completely out of your body. Like, your body's walking around, but you're like somewhere else over there. Usually that means that you fall into things and say things you didn't mean, and going through all kinds of changes. And this is what brings you back down inside yourself. This is what brings you back. And also then it's used in the temples and the house, because it also takes care of what gets attracted. All of these things have been here for us forever, and our parents used to practice them. And now we live in the machine age, the machine spirit, where everything we do is about how quick we can do it and how much we're going to get paid to do it. That's where we live now, all of us, in this time. And because we live in that time, it's really hard for us to just stop, and really acknowledge and take care of ourselves in the way that we need to. I mean, each of us individually go get our nails done, and our feet, and our hair, and maybe if we have time and money. But we hardly ever, rarely take care of what's going on in our hearts and what's going on in our spirit and our soul. That we put off all the time. Like I tell my kid, he's working very hard, and he never uses his insurance. And I say, well, great, like 1/4 of your income is your insurance, and somebody else is going to inherit that, maybe quicker than you think. So I always, try to bring it all back down right in here in the center of our own selves. So, because I want to talk to you seriously about this practice. I think that this practice is going the way of Cinco de Mayo. And I know you all grew up with Cinco de Mayo. And Cinco de Mayo has become, a little danza, or maybe a little folklorico. In my kids' school, it's a badly Xeroxed page with a little dancer and the word Cinco de Mayo. It's totally unconnected to any history, totally unconnected to any culture, totally unconnected to any place. No ground at all. It's just something you ask, what is it? Nobody can tell you. And that's how, Day of the Dead has become an act of, where people put a lot of things on the table, stick a picture of the relative on it, throw some paper on it, and then they call it a day, and then say this is what it is. When in fact, this tradition, the way it is now, is at least 500 years old, the way it is now. But prior to those 500 years, it was a way that we made time in this world. It acknowledges that, we all come into this world, and all of us have a sense of propósito. We all have a sense of value. We value that maybe there's something that we came here to do. We all ask ourselves that question, what did we come here to do? It's an old question that we've asked. Why did we come here? Especially those of us who struggle, who suffer, who sacrifice. Our parents, go through what they go through to get us here, and they wonder, what did I bring you here for? So, it's a time-old question. And so in this world, then, we seek understanding about our purpose. And one of the ways that we value that purpose is by turning around and asking those who came before us, why did we come here? And now in this time that we're all fragmented, and it's very hard to find those people behind us. Who's standing there behind you, right behind you? Who's standing there you could turn to and say, what's my purpose? How do I get there? What values do we practice in life? How do I get through all of these? It's like a game. You have to get through, hit all the hoops and all the buttons and ring the bells before you can get out of this particular institution and on with your life. And what it took to get here, I can imagine I can imagine what it took to get here. And so I'm very proud that you're here. I'm very happy that you're here. And so I'm bringing you these things because this is something that comes from where you came from. This is not something that comes from here. This comes from where you came from. So it makes a circle like this, and here it shows up right in your face otra vez. So the point of this is to have some understanding about who we are and our relationships. It's all about relationship, this altar. It's the relationship that we have to our own self, primero, and then the relationship that we have to our familias, and then the relationship that we have to our communities, and the relationships that our communities have to all of our nations. And I say nations because each and every one of us, most likely, come from different nations of people that are indigenous to this land. The majority of us come from and represent across from here all the way down to Salvador. How many? Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, Southern Mexico, Northern Mexico, Central Mexico, the mountains in Mexico, the valles in Mexico. Yeah. all the way up here into Texas and Arizona, Colorado, California, Utah. We're an old people. We're just manifesting ourselves one more time at this moment in history. So I say to you, here we are at this moment in history. And we do this so that we remember then all of those peoples that stand, all of our, what we call our ancestors, what we call all those people that brought us to this moment in time. So sometimes they say that we are the dream that our great, 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 great grandparents dreamed. And here we are. Hopefully we weren't a nightmare, ¿verdad? Like, ay, qué espanto. So here we are. And so this then connects us again, connects us to the values that our people had in getting us here. What are those values? Very simple. The values of propósito. What I just said already. The values that we hold are that we have purpose in life, that que servimos para algo. We don't just come here to just, maredearnos, but we come here because we have some propósito to serve our families, our communities. That we continue, right, to remember those values means that then we continue to how to remember. So how we remember then is, first of all, we got to do what's always called for, which is prender la luz. ¿Verdad? Se me prendió el foco. And before focos, there was fire and luz. And so we ask then for fire. The fire takes us all the way back to the beginning, because without this fire, I don't know what we would have advanced to. Maybe we would have figured something else out. But the fire is what's always brought us together. There's a time immemorial when you had to go get together to go catch that buffalo, or go catch that deer, or go catch that mammoth, or go catch the vaca just the other day, right? You can divide it up and have some food, okay? What it takes to plant. And el agua, this water then, is combined siempre. You can go, I invite you to go over to those museos in Mexico and all over Central America where they have all our things put away, captured actually. All our stones, all the production of thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And you'll find that the altars that they have portrayed tienen el fuego y el agua. El agua, because that's what we share. That's what we share between us. Each and every one of us, we share that with every bit of creation. We share it with the rocks and the trees and las plantitas and what flies and what swims. And we share it with each other. And we share it with this earth completely. We are surrounded by breath, by the breath of life. And inside of us beats this flame, this fire called our heart. So we contain the same existence that we see out there in the stars. We reflect it also in our bodies. That's what this altar reminds us, that we're not aliens. Somos de aquí, de adentro. This is what we came here from within. I say that because so many times people say, I think the aliens came and built the pyramids. They came from outer space, ¿verdad? And they refer to us as aliens all the time. I filled out my mom's alien registration card every year for about 17 years, to the day when I left for college, and she filled it out herself, and they thought she forged it. Because I'm the one that filled it out and took it to the post office and registered her as a resident alien. I'm telling you. So we do this to remind ourselves que somos de aquí, de esta tierra. Somos de aquí, de este mundo. And what we share is esculturas, many aspects y cultura. Now, this is the altar that is the base. This is what's underneath the altar for Day of the Dead. I imagine that you've seen altares. Have you seen the altares for Day of the Dead? How many of you and your families make the altar for Day of the Dead? So a few of you. And you know in your familia that, at a certain time of the year, se limpia la mesa, se pone un mantel, something very pretty. You bring flowers and water, you clean. Sometimes my mom, I used to go, oh no. The whole house had to get clean, not just the altar, but when it was time to do a ceremony, oh my goodness, it was like clean out the cobwebs abajo de la cama. It was like, oh, I would say, let's wrap it up in plastic and live outside now.